All right. Again, welcome back, everyone. Right now, we are going to take a look at the new Star Wars Battlefront Battle of Jakku gameplay trailer. Now, in my PlayStation Experience reaction earlier today, I talked about how we could expect some either a gameplay trailer like this one or a full-blown match or like a cinematic very, very soon, because people who pre-ordered Star Wars Battlefront were going to get early access to the game a week early, starting tomorrow. So they had to kind of release like a proper trailer before everyone started to post their gameplay footage online. So yeah, this is basically like a Battle of Jakku launch trailer. And this particular Jakku map or whatever is the one that ties into The Force Awakens. That happens all the time. It's so annoying. I don't have it strapped down. Yeah, okay, look, this Battle of Jakku planet and the map and the maps that they have, I think there's only, I don't know how many maps there are in it. But it's very important because Star Wars Battlefront, I've said it before in my first date video, it feels like a type of game that is lacking in content, especially when you hold it up to other, AAA first-person multiplayer shooters that spend a lot of money, that are expensive. So when you hold up Star Wars Battlefront to a game like Call of Duty, and you see that Call of Duty has a zombies mode with character development and voice actors and a time period kind of piece there, and then you have a multiplayer, fully fleshed out multiplayer mode that they spend a whole lot of resources on, and then you have a first-person single-player campaign, and it's just like, all right, that's a whole lot of content for a game, and it feels like a proper $60 experience. But then you hold up Star Wars Battlefront, and you see a kind of game that it just feels like EA was on top of them, and they basically were like, you know what, you need to release this game before The Force Awakens comes out, and that's a strict deadline. You are not delaying the game. That's impossible. And DICE was like, we can't do all of the things we want to do and also release it during that time. And so all we're going to be able to do is create a multiplayer experience that, Star Wars Battlefront is known for. That's basically the reason why it exists. But I do feel like when I was playing the game, like it could have used a proper single player campaign, even if it wasn't a mind-blowing story or anything like that. But yet again, that's a little nitpicky thing. It's not little. I mean, content is very important, especially when you're telling somebody to spend $60 on something. But nevertheless, the game itself is fun, so I'm looking forward to actually playing this new map. So let's go ahead and find out what it looks like.
Our victory on Endor was just the beginning.
Lock his coils to attack position!
Now over the barren world of Jakku, we stand against the Galactic Empire.
We've got Imperials approaching! Stand together! Take them down! Rebel scum!
Still have to get that. So I'm assuming that's... Yeah, alright. So those little cinematic clips that you saw in there, that's probably stuff that they will use for the survival mode, which is basically the single player campaign mode that you could just like go offline and play by yourself, which is not very fun. It doesn't provide any real justification for me to jump in there and play. I think in one survival match, it's like basically like a horde mode, and it doesn't create the dynamic types of gameplay that you would get in multiplayer. So I spend most of my time in multiplayer anyway. So the survival mode isn't really that rewarding in that sense. So a lot of that cinematic stuff that you're seeing in here, you're probably only going to be able to experience that in survival mode. So So a lot of the stuff that is exciting about this is obviously the new mode, which I think is called Turning Point. I think it consists of like levels in the match, and kind of like moving forward and progressing forward and just gaining an advantage. And basically I feel like it's one of the modes that really emphasizes more teamwork than all the other ones have so far. But we'll find out when we get our hands on it. I could be completely wrong on everything I just said, but again, Battle at Jakku, it seems a lot crazier in terms of like what's happening aesthetically. A lot of the planets that we've been to before in Star Wars Battlefront, like Hoth and Endor and Sullust and Tatooine, obviously. They were more just the classic maps that you would expect, looking beautiful, of course, and sounding beautiful. But I think looking at this map and seeing, the fire and the smoke, and it feels like you're part of an actual battle, even more so now, instead of something that's, rearranged or everything like that. So that aspect to it is really cool visually when seeing it. When I first saw my very first Star Wars Battlefront gameplay trailer, I freaked out a lot more because it was the first time we actually got to see gameplay footage of the game and see how beautiful it was. But actually, playing it, I sort of expect it to look this good now. I'm getting a little spoiled. The game just looks and sounds amazing. Amazing. Incredible, actually. And I'm really excited to see what future Star Wars titles actually use all of this stuff that they did, because they share their technology inside of EA, right? So Visceral's new game, which is basically going to be a third-person action-adventure game, I don't know if it's going to be open world or not, or if it's going to be something in the vein of Uncharted, is going to look incredible, because it's probably going to run at 30 frames per second. And that means they're going to be able to do a lot more visual stuff, a lot more maybe physics stuff. I don't know, but they're going to be able to do more because, the frame rate is lower for an action-adventure game that doesn't need to be at 60 frames per second. It would be nice if it was at 60, but it doesn't need to be. And it's just, that's exciting because they have all of this stuff that they've been able to do with Star Wars Battlefront. They're going to be able to share all of that with all the other games that they're doing, and not just future Star Wars Battlefront games, which there will be. And there's been a lot of talk today about how Star Wars Battlefront 2 might be the proper Star Wars experience, right? And you kind of get that feeling, right? Now, obviously, I feel like Star Wars Battlefront 2 or any future Star Wars game will probably get tied into another movie again, so therefore there will probably be another strict deadline, and therefore EA hampering down and being like, no, you have to get it done here, and there's no room for delay to create more content, and that's always a problem. But I just get the feeling, I'm going to say it again, I get the feeling that this game is more of EA clamoring down on a deadline than it is DICE actually deciding, creatively, I think this game is just perfect with the modes it has and the multiplayer, because it feels like it's an oversight. They know what the rest of the industry is doing. They're not living in some kind of bubble where they have absolutely no idea that Call of Duty exists and their old Battlefield games exist that had single player campaigns, right? It just feels like, to me, like they just had to kind of release it, and they really didn't have much of a choice. Now, you could disagree with me, but it just feels that way to me. It doesn't feel like DICE actually was okay with this. It just, it's just part of the publisher studio dynamic that you just kind of have to abide by. So that's frustrating, because it means that we kind of got quote unquote fucked over. But with the season pass, we're getting a lot more content, so they're going to be working on that stuff throughout, or they're already working on that stuff now. But yeah, it's part of the process. A lot of teams, studios, they work on stuff after the release of the game, and that's usually the stuff that goes on the season pass. But then you get people getting extremely worried, thinking that that EA was just like, what is your game? Oh, let's see all your content. Okay, let's cut it in half and then sell this stuff on Season Pass. And I don't feel like that's true. I feel like a lot of people would quit if that ever happened, because it is a very shady business. And if that was true, basically, we've spoken about this shit before, holding off content so then you could sell it for Season Pass instead of just giving what you have done by the release of the game, or by like a month or two before the game, and just being like, this is what we're going to sell. And then having them work on everything afterwards. I'm ranting now, but basically this Battle of Jakku map is important for Star Wars Battlefront because it's lacking in content, and that's pretty much the important aspect here. So we will see tomorrow exactly how this gameplay element works, how the new turning point mode works in this map, and whether it's fun. And I feel like this is a type of game that we're going to have to review again probably a year from now and see what it looks like as a whole, much like Destiny with the Taken King now. Taken King overall is reviewed really well compared to what Destiny was before. And that's, that's the constant games or services now thing that, it's a struggle between consumers like us that just want to play the games in the way we would expect, and then the way publishers and studios are trying to sell it to us in the way of like a service and everything. And we still haven't found like a happy medium that we're all satisfied with, but I feel like time will correct those wounds. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think about the Star Wars Battlefront Battle of Jakku. I know this was a long reaction, I talked a lot, but it is what it is. It's what you guys come here for. You guys come here for proper breakdowns and analysis of the latest trailers, and not just great trailer. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Subscribe and give me money. All right. Anyway, that's it. If you hate me, you know what to do. If you like me, you know what to do. And I'll see you guys all in the next one.